Hello, my name is Adam, and I'll be your co-host today, guiding you through another interesting topic that will not only help you improve your English, but also add value to your personal and professional life. We've prepared a lot of helpful information for you today, and as always, we'll break things down into simple, easy-to-understand English, so no matter what level you are, you can follow along.
That's right, Adam. And I'm Julia, your other co-host. We're really excited about today's episode because we're going to dive into a topic that affects all of us, no matter where we are or what we do. It's a topic that is essential for building better relationships, whether you're talking with family, friends, colleagues, or even meeting new people. Today, we're going to talk about mastering interpersonal skills for better relationships. It's a skill set that helps us communicate more effectively, understand others more deeply, and work through challenges with less conflict and more cooperation. We hope that by the end of today's podcast, you'll feel more confident not only in your English skills, but also in your ability to build stronger, more meaningful connections with the people around you.
Exactly, Julia. So, for those of you listening and maybe wondering what we mean by interpersonal skills, let me break it down a little bit. Interpersonal skills are the skills we use when we interact with other people. They include things like how we communicate, how we listen, how we show empathy, and even how we resolve conflicts when they come up. Whether you're working with a team at your job, having a conversation with your family, or spending time with friends, these skills are what help you navigate those interactions successfully. We all have relationships in our lives, and mastering these skills can make a huge difference in how strong and healthy those relationships are.
That's so true, Adam. And you know, one of the reasons why this topic is so important is because in today's world, we often have to interact with many different types of people from different backgrounds and cultures. Being able to understand and communicate with others in a respectful and effective way is more important than ever. Strong interpersonal skills can help you not only avoid misunderstandings, but also build trust and respect with the people you interact with. Whether you're at work, school, or just socializing with friends, good interpersonal skills are key to making those relationships work smoothly.
Right, Julia. And it's also important to remember that these skills aren't just useful for social interactions or friendships. They're absolutely essential in the professional world as well. Whether you're applying for a job, working in a team, or managing others, your ability to communicate clearly, listen attentively, and resolve conflicts will play a big role in your success. Employers today aren't just looking for technical skills. They're also looking for people who can work well with others, who can collaborate, and who can manage relationships effectively. So, by mastering these interpersonal skills, you're not only improving your personal life, but also making yourself more competitive in the job market.
That's right, Adam. Interpersonal skills are often called soft skills, but don't let the name fool you. There's nothing soft about how powerful they are. In fact, many employers and leaders say that soft skills like communication, teamwork, and empathy are just as important as technical skills, if not more so. Because no matter how good you are at your job, if you can't communicate with others or work well with them, it will be much harder to succeed. And it's not just about work either. These skills help us in every area of life. Think about your relationships with family or friends. How often do misunderstandings happen because someone wasn't listening, or someone didn't express their thoughts clearly? Interpersonal skills can help prevent those kinds of problems, and there's something we can all improve, no matter where we are starting from.
Absolutely, Julia. And what's great about interpersonal skills is that they are learnable. You don't have to be a naturally great communicator to develop these skills. Just like learning a language, it takes practice, patience, and the willingness to improve. That's what we're going to help you with today. We'll be discussing some of the most important interpersonal skills, why they matter, and how you can start developing them right now. And remember, as we go through today's episode, we'll keep things simple and clear so that even if you're a beginner in English, you'll be able to follow along and learn both English and these valuable life skills at the same time.
Exactly, Adam. So, listeners, we encourage you to take notes. Think about how you can apply these skills in your own life. And most importantly, don't be afraid to practice. Whether it's with your friends, family, or even with new people you meet, each interaction is an opportunity to practice and improve your interpersonal skills. And don't forget, these skills aren't something you just learn once and you're done. They take ongoing effort, and as you practice them, you'll get better and better over time. The more you practice, the more natural these skills will become.
That's such great advice, Julia. And with that in mind, let's get started on our journey to mastering interpersonal skills for better relationships. We've got a lot of useful tips, examples, and practical advice to share with you today, so let's dive in. First, let's talk about what exactly interpersonal skills are and break down the different types so that we can understand them better. We're going to cover everything from communication and listening to empathy and conflict resolution. And we'll show you how you can use these skills to improve the relationships in your life, both personal and professional.
It's going to be an exciting and informative episode, Adam. So, to all our listeners out there, whether you're learning English for work, school, or just for fun, this episode will give you valuable tools to use in your daily life. Let's get started and discover how mastering interpersonal skills can open up new opportunities for better communication, deeper connections, and more successful relationships in every area of life.
Now that we've introduced the topic and discussed why it's so important, let's dive a little deeper and really break down what we mean when we talk about interpersonal skills. To put it simply, interpersonal skills are the abilities we use to interact with other people. These are the skills that help us communicate, understand, and build relationships with those around us. Whether you are at work, at home, or even meeting new people, your ability to connect and communicate with others is based on these skills. You might not even realize it, but every time you talk, listen, or even gesture to someone, you are using interpersonal skills. They are the foundation of how we interact with one another. But what does that mean in more specific terms? Let's break it down into different types of interpersonal skills so that it becomes clearer. These are skills that we all use in daily life, even if we don't think about them consciously. By understanding these skills better, you'll be able to focus on improving each one, which can have a huge impact on your relationships, both in your personal life and in your career.
That's right, Adam. Interpersonal skills are a broad category, but we can break them down into a few main types. Each of these plays a different role in how we communicate and connect with others. The first one, and probably the most obvious, is communication. Now, when we talk about communication, we don't just mean speaking. Communication includes both verbal and non-verbal elements. Verbal communication is the words we choose to use when we speak, while non-verbal communication is all the other ways we send messages, like through our body language, facial expressions, and even the tone of our voice. For example, even if you say something kind, but you say it with a frown or in an angry tone, the person you are speaking to might not believe you are being kind at all.
Exactly. And a big part of mastering interpersonal skills is becoming aware of not only what we say, but also how we say it. Verbal communication is about using the right words to express your thoughts and feelings clearly and respectfully. You want to make sure that the words you choose convey your message in a way that is easy for the other person to understand. On the other hand, nonverbal communication involves things like maintaining eye contact when you are speaking, using hand gestures to emphasize a point, or even just your posture when you're listening to someone. These non-verbal cues can often say more than words themselves. If you're standing with your arms crossed or looking at your phone while someone is talking to you, it sends a message that you're not really interested in what they're saying.
That's such a good point, Adam. And another essential interpersonal skill which goes hand in hand with communication is listening. It may sound simple, but true. Active listening is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Active listening means not just hearing the words someone is saying, but truly paying attention to the message they are trying to convey. It involves being present in the moment, focusing on the speaker, and not letting your mind wander or thinking about what you're going to say next. When we actively listen, we show the other person that we value what they're saying and that we respect their thoughts and feelings. This builds trust and strengthens relationships.
Yes, listening is often overlooked, but it's just as important as speaking. Many of us think communication is all about talking, but the truth is, listening is the foundation of good communication. Without listening, it's easy to misunderstand someone, miss important details, or even offend them without realizing it. Active listening also means asking questions to clarify what the other person is saying if something isn't clear. You can say things like, "So what you're saying is," or "Can you explain that a bit more?" This not only shows that you're paying attention, but also helps to make sure there's no confusion. And, as a bonus, it helps you improve your English by practicing how to ask questions and summarize what someone else has said.
Absolutely, Adam. Another key interpersonal skill is empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and understand their feelings, even if you're not going through the same thing. It's about being sensitive to the emotions and experiences of others and responding in a caring and thoughtful way. For example, if a friend is upset because they've had a bad day, empathy means recognizing their feelings and offering support, even if your day has been fine. You might say something like, "I'm sorry you had a rough day. Is there anything I can do to help?" Showing empathy helps build deeper connections because it shows that you care about the other person's well-being.
And empathy is so crucial in both personal and professional relationships. When people feel that they're being understood and supported, they're more likely to trust you and feel comfortable opening up to you. This can make a huge difference in relationships at work as well. For example, if a coworker is struggling with a project, showing empathy can mean offering help or simply acknowledging that they're going through a tough time. You don't have to solve their problem, but just showing that you care can make them feel less stressed and more supported. Empathy creates a sense of emotional safety, which is the foundation of any strong relationship.
Another interpersonal skill that often goes hand in hand with empathy is conflict resolution. No matter how good your communication skills are, or how empathetic you are, conflicts will still arise from time to time. That's normal in any relationship. What's important is how you handle those conflicts. Conflict resolution involves finding a way to address disagreements or misunderstandings in a calm and respectful manner without letting things escalate into bigger problems. It's about looking for solutions that are fair for both sides rather than trying to win the argument. In a way, it's like teamwork, where you're both working toward the same goal, resolving the conflict in a way that benefits both parties.
That's such a valuable skill, Julia, because conflicts can often be emotional and challenging to deal with. But if you approach them with a mindset of problem-solving rather than arguing, you can actually strengthen your relationships. For example, instead of saying, "You're wrong," or "This is your fault," you can say something like, "Let's figure out how we can fix this together," or "I understand how you feel. Let's talk about how we can avoid this issue in the future." Conflict resolution is about staying calm, listening to the other person's perspective, and finding a compromise that works for both of you. And again, this is a skill that's important in both your personal life and in the workplace.
And speaking of the workplace, teamwork is another essential interpersonal skill. Teamwork means being able to work effectively with others to achieve a common goal. Whether you're in a small group or a large team, your ability to collaborate and cooperate with others is key to success. Good teamwork involves sharing ideas, listening to the ideas of others, offering help when needed, and being willing to compromise for the good of the group. Teamwork isn't just about doing your part. It's about supporting others in doing their part too. By working well with others, you can achieve more than you could alone.
That's right, Julia. And one final interpersonal skill we'll talk about today is problem solving. Whether it's a personal issue or a challenge at work, problem solving is about being able to think critically and come up with solutions. It's about staying calm when problems arise, looking at the situation from different angles, and figuring out the best way to address the issue. Problem solving often requires good communication, listening, and even empathy, because you need to consider the perspectives and needs of everyone involved. The more you practice problem solving, the better you'll get at finding creative and effective solutions to challenges.
So, to sum up, interpersonal skills are a broad range of abilities that help us communicate, collaborate, and build strong relationships with others. Whether it's through clear communication, active listening, showing empathy, resolving conflicts, working as a team, or solving problems, these skills are essential for success in both personal and professional life. And the good news is, just like learning English, these skills can be practiced and improved over time. As we continue with this episode, we'll dive deeper into each of these skills and talk about how you can start applying them in your daily life. Now that we've defined interpersonal skills and explored the various types, it's crucial for us to understand why these skills are so important in our lives. Let's begin by looking at how interpersonal skills play a vital role in our personal relationships. Strong interpersonal skills are the foundation upon which we build meaningful connections with our family and friends. For instance, consider how empathy and active listening can transform your interactions with loved ones. When someone shares their feelings or experiences, responding with empathy not only shows that you care, but it also encourages them to open up more, leading to deeper and more trusting relationships. Take, for example, a situation where a friend is going through a tough time. Perhaps they have lost a job or are facing a personal challenge. If you take the time to listen actively and offer your support, it can make all the difference. By simply being there and showing that you are genuinely interested in their well-being, you strengthen your bond. This kind of connection builds trust and creates a safe space for open communication, allowing friends to feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. It fosters an environment where both parties feel valued, respected, and understood, which is essential for nurturing lasting friendships.
Absolutely, Julia. Strong interpersonal skills not only enhance our personal relationships, but are also incredibly valuable in our professional lives. In today's work environment, where teamwork and collaboration are essential, having good interpersonal skills can significantly improve how we interact with our colleagues. For example, when you possess effective communication skills, it becomes much easier to share ideas, provide feedback, and ask for help when needed. This clarity in communication reduces misunderstandings and ensures that everyone is on the same page, ultimately leading to greater productivity. Moreover, good interpersonal skills are crucial for problem solving in the workplace. Let's imagine a scenario where a team is faced with a project deadline that seems impossible to meet. If team members can communicate openly and work together to brainstorm solutions, they can identify potential obstacles and figure out how to overcome them. In this context, interpersonal skills, such as active listening and teamwork, enable the group to collaborate effectively and tap into each member's strengths. This approach not only helps in achieving project goals, but also contributes to a positive and supportive work environment where employees feel valued and empowered to contribute.
And this leads us to the importance of creating a positive work environment. When individuals practice good interpersonal skills, it fosters a culture of respect and collaboration among colleagues. A workplace where people feel comfortable expressing their ideas and concerns is more likely to be productive and innovative. When employees use interpersonal skills to resolve conflicts peacefully, they prevent small issues from escalating into larger problems that could disrupt the team's harmony. As a result, the overall atmosphere becomes more supportive, allowing everyone to thrive and do their best work.
To further illustrate this point, let's share a couple of examples that show how interpersonal skills can transform relationships. I'll start with a story about a manager named Sarah, who was struggling to get her team to collaborate effectively. Initially, there was a lot of tension, and team members often felt uncomfortable sharing their ideas. Sarah realized that she needed to improve her own interpersonal skills, particularly her communication and listening abilities. She started holding regular team meetings, during which she encouraged open dialogue and actively listened to everyone's input. As a result of this shift, team members felt valued and began to share their thoughts freely. They started to work together more effectively, which ultimately led to increased productivity and better project outcomes. Sarah's willingness to develop her interpersonal skills transformed not only her relationships with her team, but also the overall dynamics of the workplace. This illustrates how investing time in developing interpersonal skills can yield significant benefits in professional relationships.
That's a fantastic example, Adam. Now, let me share a personal story about my friend Laura, who used her interpersonal skills to strengthen her family relationships. Laura noticed that her parents often had disagreements, which led to a tense atmosphere at home. Instead of avoiding the issue, she decided to intervene and use her interpersonal skills to facilitate better communication between her parents. Laura organized a family meeting where everyone could express their feelings and concerns in a safe space. During the meeting, Laura practiced active listening and encouraged her parents to do the same. She guided the conversation with empathy, helping them see each other's perspectives. By the end of the discussion, her parents felt more understood and were able to resolve some of their ongoing issues. This not only improved their relationship, but also created a more harmonious home environment for everyone. Laura's initiative shows how interpersonal skills can have a profound impact on family dynamics, leading to stronger and healthier relationships.
These stories remind us that whether in personal or professional settings, mastering interpersonal skills is essential for building strong relationships. The ability to communicate effectively, listen actively, empathize with others, resolve conflicts amicably, and work as a team is invaluable in today's interconnected world. When we prioritize these skills, we not only enhance our own lives, but also contribute positively to the lives of those around us.
So, as we continue our discussion, let's explore practical ways we can develop these skills further and put them into practice in our daily lives. It's clear that mastering interpersonal skills is a journey, but one that is definitely worth taking for the sake of our relationships, both personal and professional.
Now that we've discussed why interpersonal skills are important in our relationships, let's dive into some key skills that everyone should focus on developing to improve their interpersonal interactions. These skills will help you connect better with others and strengthen your relationships, whether they are personal or professional. We'll start with the first key skill: communication. Clear communication is fundamental to building any relationship. When you communicate effectively, you ensure that your thoughts and feelings are understood by others, which can prevent misunderstandings and conflicts. So, what does it mean to communicate clearly? It involves expressing your thoughts in a way that is easy for others to understand. Using simple language can go a long way in achieving this. Avoid using jargon or complex vocabulary that may confuse your listener. Instead, opt for straightforward words that convey your message effectively.
That's a great point, Adam. In addition to using simple words, it's crucial to pay attention to non-verbal communication, which includes body language, facial expressions, and eye contact. When you speak, your body language should match your words. For example, if you're sharing good news, a smile and an open posture can help convey your enthusiasm. Eye contact is also an important aspect of communication. It shows that you are engaged and interested in the conversation. When you maintain eye contact, you signal to the other person that you value what they are saying, and this helps build trust in the relationship. Now, let's move on to the next key interpersonal skill: active listening. Listening is often overlooked, but it is just as important as speaking. Active listening means giving your full attention to the speaker and really trying to understand their message without interrupting. This shows respect and that you value their perspective. When someone is sharing their thoughts or feelings, it can be tempting to jump in with your own experiences or opinions, but it's crucial to let them finish before responding. This not only fosters better understanding, but also creates a more open and trusting environment for conversation.
Exactly, Julia. To illustrate the importance of active listening, let me share a practical example. Imagine a scenario where a colleague is sharing their frustrations about a project at work. If you listen attentively, nodding along and making eye contact, it signals that you are engaged in what they are saying. After they express their concerns, you can respond thoughtfully, perhaps by asking clarifying questions or offering supportive comments. By doing this, you validate their feelings and open the door for a more productive conversation. Good listening can transform a simple exchange into a meaningful dialogue.
Moving on, another essential interpersonal skill is empathy, which is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. In simple terms, it means putting yourself in someone else's shoes and seeing things from their perspective. Empathy allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, fostering stronger relationships. When we can understand how someone feels, we are better equipped to respond in a way that is supportive and caring.
To show empathy, start by paying attention to the emotions of those around you. This means being aware of their verbal cues, like the tone of their voice, as well as nonverbal cues, such as their body language and facial expressions. If you notice that a friend looks upset or anxious, you might approach them and say, "I can see that you're feeling down. Do you want to talk about it?" This simple gesture shows that you care and that you are willing to listen, which can be incredibly comforting for them. Being empathetic not only helps others feel supported, but it also strengthens the bond you share with them.
Finally, let's discuss conflict resolution, which is a crucial skill in maintaining healthy relationships. Conflicts are a natural part of any relationship, but how we handle them can determine the strength of that relationship. Resolving conflicts calmly and respectfully is key to keeping your connections strong. When a disagreement arises, the first step is to stay calm. Take a deep breath and try not to react emotionally. This can help prevent the situation from escalating further.
That's an excellent point, Julia. After staying calm, the next step is to listen to the other person's perspective. Show them that you are willing to hear their side of the story without interrupting or getting defensive. Once both parties have had a chance to express their feelings, work together to find a solution. This might involve compromising or brainstorming ways to resolve the issue that satisfy both parties. For instance, if you and a friend disagree about plans for the weekend, instead of insisting on your idea, you could suggest discussing both options and seeing if there's a way to incorporate elements from both plans. This collaborative approach not only helps to resolve the conflict, but also strengthens your relationship by showing that you are both invested in finding a solution together.
In summary, developing these key interpersonal skills, communication, active listening, empathy, and conflict resolution, can significantly improve your relationships. By focusing on clear communication, truly listening to others, showing empathy, and resolving conflicts effectively, you can create stronger connections with the people in your life. These skills take practice, but the rewards in your personal and professional relationships are well worth the effort.
Absolutely, Julia. And as we move forward in this podcast, we will discuss practical strategies for enhancing these skills further, ensuring that our listeners have the tools they need to master interpersonal skills for better relationships. So, let's continue our journey of learning together.
As we explore the journey of mastering interpersonal skills, it's important to recognize that many people face challenges along the way. These challenges can make it difficult for individuals to develop and utilize their interpersonal skills effectively. Let's take a moment to discuss some of these common challenges that listeners might relate to. One significant challenge that many people encounter is shyness, or a lack of confidence when it comes to engaging in conversations or building relationships with others. For individuals who identify as shy, the prospect of approaching someone new or speaking up in a group can feel intimidating. They may worry about being judged or fear that they won't know what to say. This fear can lead to avoidance of social situations altogether, which only perpetuates the cycle of shyness. It's important to acknowledge that this is a common experience. Many people struggle with confidence in social interactions at some point in their lives.
Absolutely, Julia. Overcoming shyness often requires a gradual approach. One helpful strategy is to start small. For instance, instead of jumping into a large social gathering, individuals can practice their communication skills in less intimidating settings, such as chatting with a cashier or a colleague. Each small interaction can build confidence over time. Additionally, setting achievable goals, like initiating one conversation a day, can help shy individuals step out of their comfort zone without feeling overwhelmed. With practice and patience, they can become more comfortable with expressing themselves and engaging with others. Another challenge that people often face in developing interpersonal skills is navigating cultural differences in communication styles. Different cultures may have distinct norms regarding eye contact, body language, and even the topics that are considered appropriate for conversation. For instance, in some cultures, direct eye contact is seen as a sign of confidence and engagement, while in others, it may be perceived as rude or confrontational. This can lead to misunderstandings and discomfort in cross-cultural interactions.
That's a crucial point, Adam. To overcome these challenges, it's essential to cultivate cultural awareness and sensitivity. This means being open to learning about different communication styles and recognizing that what may be acceptable in one culture might not be in another. Engaging with individuals from diverse backgrounds can provide valuable insights into their perspectives and enhance mutual understanding. It's also helpful to ask questions respectfully if you are unsure about someone's communication style. Most people appreciate when you show genuine interest in their culture and are willing to share their experiences, which can foster stronger connections and reduce misunderstandings. Lastly, Let's discuss the challenge of managing emotional reactions during communication, especially in moments of conflict. Emotions can run high when disagreements arise, and it's not uncommon for individuals to react impulsively out of frustration or anger. These emotional responses can hinder effective communication, making it difficult to listen to the other person or express one's own thoughts clearly.
Exactly, Julia. Controlling emotions is a critical aspect of maintaining healthy interpersonal interactions. One effective strategy for managing emotional reactions is to practice mindfulness. This means being aware of your feelings and acknowledging them without letting them dictate your responses. For example, if you find yourself getting upset during a discussion, take a moment to breathe deeply and collect your thoughts before responding. This pause can help you approach the conversation with a clearer mindset, allowing for more constructive dialogue.
Additionally, it's helpful to develop emotional intelligence, which involves recognizing not only your own emotions, but also the emotions of others. By being aware of how others are feeling, you can adjust your communication style to be more empathetic and supportive. This can prevent conflicts from escalating and promote a more positive atmosphere for discussion.
In conclusion, while developing interpersonal skills can be challenging, it's important to remember that these obstacles can be overcome with practice and dedication. Whether it's addressing shyness, navigating cultural differences, or managing emotional reactions, recognizing these challenges is the first step toward improvement. In our next section, we will explore practical strategies and tips for enhancing interpersonal skills further, helping you to build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Now that we've discussed the importance of interpersonal skills and the challenges that can arise in developing them, let's focus on some practical tips that can help our listeners improve these essential skills. Just like any other skill in life, whether it's playing a musical instrument or cooking a new recipe, interpersonal skills require practice and dedication to develop and enhance. The more effort you put into practicing these skills, the more comfortable and effective you will become in your interactions with others. The first tip is simply to practice. Engaging in conversations regularly can help build your confidence and improve your interpersonal skills. This doesn't mean that you need to strike up a conversation with everyone you meet, but instead, look for opportunities in your daily life. For instance, practice speaking with coworkers during breaks or with neighbors when you see them outside. Each interaction is a chance to practice your communication skills, and over time, you'll notice improvements in how you express your thoughts and feelings. Additionally, you can create opportunities for practice in low-pressure situations. Joining a club or group focused on a hobby you enjoy is a great way to meet new people and engage in conversation. This provides a friendly environment to practice without the fear of judgment. Remember, every interaction is a chance to learn and grow, so take advantage of these opportunities to hone your skills.
The next tip is to ask for feedback from friends or family regarding your communication style and listening abilities. Sometimes, we may not be fully aware of how we come across to others, and constructive feedback can provide valuable insights. Reach out to someone you trust and ask them specific questions about how they perceive your communication. For example, you might ask, "Do I interrupt you when you're speaking?" Or, "Do you feel like I'm truly listening when we talk?" Encouraging open and honest feedback is crucial, as it allows you to identify areas where you can improve. When you receive feedback, approach it with an open mind, and remember that constructive criticism is not a personal attack, but an opportunity for growth. By actively working on the areas that need improvement, you'll be better equipped to build stronger relationships and connect with others more effectively.
Another effective strategy for improving interpersonal skills is to observe how skilled communicators interact with others. Pay attention to individuals in your life who you believe are great communicators. This could be a friend, a colleague, or even someone you admire on social media. Observe their body language, the way they express their thoughts, and how they listen to others. Notice the nuances of their interactions, such as their tone of voice and their ability to read non-verbal cues. By closely observing these individuals, you can identify specific techniques that resonate with you and incorporate them into your own style. For instance, you might notice that they ask open-ended questions to encourage dialogue or use positive body language to show they are engaged. Implementing these techniques into your own interactions can greatly enhance your ability to communicate and connect with others.
Finally, it's essential to be open to change in how you interact with others. Improvement in interpersonal skills often involves adjusting your approach based on the context and the people you are engaging with. This flexibility can make a significant difference in how your communication is received. For instance, if you realize that a particular approach isn't working, maybe you're facing misunderstandings or conflicts, be willing to change your style. This might mean adapting your tone, being more mindful of your body language, or practicing active listening more intentionally. Being open to feedback and willing to make adjustments shows that you value the relationships you are building and are committed to improving them. It fosters an environment of mutual respect and understanding, which is fundamental in any relationship. Remember that relationships are dynamic, and being willing to adapt can lead to stronger connections and more meaningful interactions.
In summary, improving interpersonal skills takes practice, feedback, observation, and a willingness to adapt. By incorporating these tips into your daily life, you'll find yourself becoming more adept at navigating conversations and building stronger relationships. We encourage our listeners to take small steps toward improvement each day and to remember that every interaction is an opportunity for growth. Now let's talk about listening and empathy. These two skills are very important for having good relationships with others. Listening is not just about hearing what someone says. It is about paying attention and really trying to understand them. When we listen well, we can connect better with people. But if we do not listen properly, it can cause problems in our relationships.
When someone feels ignored or not listened to, it can lead to frustration. For example, if a friend is sharing something important and the other person is looking at their phone, the friend might feel unimportant. This can make them upset and can hurt the friendship. Poor listening can make small problems bigger and can create misunderstandings.
To be a better listener, we need to practice active listening. This means giving the speaker our full attention. We should look at them and not be distracted. It is also helpful to show that we are listening by nodding or saying things like, "I understand," or "go on." These small actions show that we care about what they are saying.
It is also important not to interrupt when someone is speaking. We should wait until they finish their thoughts before we reply. This shows respect and helps us understand them better. If we need to ask questions, we can do that after they have finished talking. This way, we can make sure we really understand their feelings and ideas.
Empathy is also a key part of good communication. Empathy means trying to understand how someone else feels. When a friend is upset, showing empathy means letting them know that we care. For example, if a friend is sad, we can say, "I see that you are feeling sad. I am here for you." This helps them feel supported and understood.
We should also pay attention to body language and tone of voice. These nonverbal signals can tell us a lot about how someone is feeling. When we show empathy and listen well, we create a safe space for honest conversations.
In summary, listening and empathy are important skills that can help us improve our relationships. By learning to listen better and show empathy, we can create a more positive atmosphere when we talk to others. Good communication is important for building strong connections with friends, family, and co-workers. Before we close this episode, we'd like to take some time to talk about a crucial aspect of interpersonal skills that often gets overlooked: emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. This skill is deeply connected to how we communicate, how we empathize, and how we respond to different situations, making it an essential part of interpersonal skills.
That's right, Adam. Emotional intelligence is what helps us stay calm when we're upset, show empathy to others when they need support, and react appropriately to different situations. Without emotional intelligence, even the best communication skills may fall flat. For example, if we are talking to someone but don't understand their emotional state, we may come off as insensitive or uncaring, even if our words are perfectly fine. So, learning how to tune into emotions, both our own and those of others, is critical for improving relationships.
Emotional intelligence can be broken down into 4 key components. The first is self-awareness, which is the ability to recognize your own emotions as they are happening. This means being in touch with your feelings, whether you're angry, sad, happy, or stressed, and understanding how those emotions affect your thoughts and behavior. The more self-aware we are, the better control we have over our actions. Self-awareness is like a mirror that reflects how we're feeling and why, giving us the chance to adjust our reactions.
Exactly. The second component is self-regulation, which is all about managing your emotions effectively. It doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing your feelings, but rather responding to them in a healthy way. For example, if you're feeling angry, self-regulation helps you pause, take a deep breath, and calm down before you speak, instead of lashing out in the heat of the moment. This is particularly important in conflict resolution, where emotional outbursts can escalate problems instead of solving them.
The third component of emotional intelligence is motivation, which refers to the drive to improve yourself and remain positive, even when facing challenges. When we are motivated, we are more likely to persist in difficult conversations, work through misunderstandings, and put in the effort to improve relationships. Motivation keeps us focused on the long-term benefits of healthy communication, even when short-term frustrations arise.
And then there's empathy, which we've talked about earlier in this episode. Empathy is a core element of emotional intelligence because it allows us to step into someone else's shoes and see things from their perspective. When we empathize, we connect with others on a deeper level, showing that we understand their feelings and that we care. This can greatly reduce tension in any relationship, whether personal or professional.
The final component of emotional intelligence is social skills, which involves navigating social interactions smoothly and building relationships. This includes everything from small talk and networking to managing conflicts and maintaining positive interactions with others. People with strong social skills are often better at working in teams, managing people, and creating a positive environment in which everyone feels valued.
Emotional intelligence can take time to develop, but the good news is that just like other interpersonal skills, it can be improved with practice. A great way to start is by becoming more mindful of your emotions throughout the day. You can ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And why do I feel this way? This helps build self-awareness. You can also practice empathy by actively trying to understand how others feel and respond in a way that shows you care.
One of the most common barriers to emotional intelligence is letting emotions control us, especially in stressful situations. We all have moments where anger, frustration, or sadness can take over, but learning to pause and reflect on these feelings before reacting is key. A simple technique is to take a few deep breaths when you're upset. This gives you time to process your emotions and choose a response that helps, rather than harms, the situation.
Developing emotional intelligence is an ongoing process, but it's one of the most rewarding personal growth journeys. Not only does it help us understand ourselves better, but it also improves our relationships with others. As we become more emotionally intelligent, we are able to communicate more effectively, resolve conflicts with greater ease, and build stronger, more fulfilling connections.
It's also important to note that emotional intelligence is essential in the workplace. Strong emotional intelligence helps us work well with others, manage stress, and navigate office dynamics. It allows us to build trust with colleagues, handle feedback positively, and collaborate effectively on projects. In fact, many employers value emotional intelligence just as much as technical skills because of its impact on teamwork and leadership.
Whether you're trying to improve relationships with family, friends, or co-workers, emotional intelligence is a game changer. It helps us build trust, show compassion, and communicate in a way that strengthens our connections with others. As we work on improving our emotional intelligence, we also become better listeners, better problem solvers, and better teammates.
In conclusion, emotional intelligence is an essential part of mastering interpersonal skills. By becoming more aware of our emotions and the emotions of others, we can improve the way we communicate, handle conflicts, and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. It's a skill that can be developed over time, with practice, and it's something that will benefit every aspect of our lives.
So, as we wrap up this section, we encourage you to reflect on your own emotional intelligence. Are there areas where you could improve? Maybe it's becoming more aware of your emotions or working on being more empathetic towards others. Whatever it is, take small steps each day to build your emotional intelligence, and you'll see the positive impact it can have on your relationships.
Thanks for staying with us as we explored the role of emotional intelligence in interpersonal skills. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into some common challenges that people face when trying to develop these skills and provide tips for overcoming those challenges. As we come to the end of this episode, let's take a moment to recap what we've discussed about interpersonal skills. Throughout our conversation, we defined interpersonal skills as the abilities that allow us to communicate and interact effectively with others. We explored various types of interpersonal skills, including communication, active listening, empathy, conflict resolution, teamwork, and problem solving. Each of these skills plays a vital role in fostering healthy and meaningful relationships, both in our personal lives and in professional settings.
We also talked about why these skills are so important. Good interpersonal skills help us connect with others, build trust, and resolve conflicts more easily. They are essential for creating strong family bonds, friendships, and successful workplace relationships. We highlighted that poor listening can lead to misunderstandings, while empathy can strengthen connections. By practicing these skills, we can improve our interactions and enjoy richer, more fulfilling relationships.
Now that we've covered the importance of these skills, we also shared some practical tips for improving them. We discussed how to communicate clearly, the significance of active listening, the power of empathy, and strategies for resolving conflicts calmly. Remember, these skills can be developed over time, and with practice, anyone can become a better communicator and a more empathetic person.
As a final thought, I want to encourage all our listeners to actively practice these interpersonal skills in their daily lives. Whether it's at home with family, with friends, or at work, small changes in how we communicate can lead to significant improvements in our relationships. Every conversation is an opportunity to listen better and show understanding. Remember that it takes time and effort, but the results are worth it.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to give you a sneak peek into our next episode. We will be discussing the topic of effective communication in the digital age. In this episode, we will explore how technology affects the way we communicate, and share tips on how to communicate effectively in our increasingly digital world.
Thank you for joining us today on this episode of the English Globe. We appreciate your time and attention, and we hope you found our discussion helpful. We encourage you to continue learning English with us and to practice your interpersonal skills every day. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more engaging topics.
If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to reach out to us through our social media channels or leave a comment. We love hearing from our listeners. Until next time, keep practicing your English and have a wonderful day.
Goodbye, everyone. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode.